Hey guys, welcome back. And kind of a sad story here. I'm not sure how many of you guys saw this, or if anybody especially in our country here in the U.S., is even gonna recognize this famous landmark over in the UK. But apparently, a few days ago, there was a very famous old sycamore tree over at Hadrian's Wall in the UK in Northumberland that was basically, I don't want to say vandalized because this is far more serious than that. It was literally freaking cut in half. It was sawed down at the base. You can see in this video here that it's just toast. The tree is dead. And it's this beautiful old sycamore tree that's been there for, like I said, like 300 years. And again, most of us here in the US probably recognize it if you grew up, in the 80s and 90s like I did, from the movie Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman. And, they arrested a 16-year-old boy, but again, they haven't released any information about why he did it, if he's a local, if he's from another country, if it's, what the intentions are. And anytime that they have something like this happen and they don't talk about it, it's concerning. I mean, who's burning down all those cathedrals over in Europe? If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It seems like I think it's several churches or cathedrals burned down every few weeks in Europe. It's pretty frightening to actually, read about. Pretty scary stuff. But again, mentioning Robin Hood, this kind of took me back to that remake that came out just, a few days ago? I think it actually aired. I don't care to watch this show. This is not one that I could even bring myself to hate watch. But apparently this remake, this remastering, modernization, reimagining of this classic, British folk story has not done as well as expected by the people who actually produced the show, which go figure. I mean, I can't imagine it didn't, do amazing, right? Crazy. So this is like one of the only positive reviews. In fact, there's not a whole lot of reviews on it, but this one says, created and directed by Director X and written by award-winning screenwriter Chris Roberts, Robin Hood tells the story of hip-hop artist Robin Loxley, whose masked hip-hop group The Hood uses videos with anti-authoritarian messaging to address the issues facing their Sherwood Towers community. Alongside her friends, she must fight property developer John Prince and the sheriff of New Nottingham to keep her community and family from being overrun by corruption and greed. So that just kind of sets the tone for the show right there, right? And so the article goes on to say, when the show was first announced, some critics and fans were in an uproar over this modern interpretation, with some labeling it an attempt at being woke. After watching episode 1, it's clear that this isn't some misguided attempt at wokeness. It's an adaptation most likely inspired by similarities between the Robin Hood story and the experiences of marginalized people. I'm not kidding, that's what the article actually says. After all, Robin Hood's a social justice story about marginalized people. No, it's not. It absolutely is not, but okay. From where he lives to the people he helps, Robin Hood is in fact Hood. So to borrow from the hit song, ladies and gentlemen, calm down. So this is where the article actually starts to talk about the show and listen to the cope, okay? Now, the premiere episode isn't perfect and has areas where it could improve, perhaps by injecting some Caribbean or African culture and by being a bit more subtle with the Robin Hood references, for example. So you want a show that's more Afrocentric but less references to Robin Hood. Okay. The show is also so different than anything we've seen on TV before that it may be difficult for viewers to fully grasp what they're watching, at least in the early parts of the episode. So it's so different from what we've ever seen that people are going to have a hard time understanding what the hell they're even watching. I gotta love it. That's what I love. If I'm going to watch a TV show and I want them to actually show me or tell me what the show is about, I want it to be so confusing and so unlike anything I've seen before that I don't even know what I'm watching. Okay? Goes on to talk about how amazing it is that they have this fantastic black lead and John. Everyone talks about the little John character, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to watch it to verify it for myself. But it says, in episode 1, we're introduced to a bonnet-wearing Robin Loxley, her sister Jill Scarlett, and mother Tressie Loxley, who bring different faces and a rare black family dynamic to Canadian TV than we're used to. Along with Toronto, British, and Caribbean slang like tings, teef, I'll link you, and allow it fam, there's a sense of familiarity and representation with the show that may be comforting to black audiences. So again, we've all known this all along. This show is only appealing to a niche audience, a very small percentage of people. And, whether or not it's for you, obviously the quality of the show is not great. So if you even look for like the Rotten Tomatoes score, it doesn't even appear on Rotten Tomatoes. Nobody has reviewed it. Nobody's even bothered to put it on Rotten Tomatoes to be reviewed. It is on IMDb, sitting at a whopping 3.6 out of 10 rating. Like, you can't make this up. It's got 16 10s and 78 1s. You've got some charitable 2s in there at 16, 7 3s, and no 5s and 4s. Basically, you've got like, you got 9 reviews here between 9 and 6. You've got 7 3s. Everything is either a 10 or a 1 or a 2. So clearly this show was made for a very select group of people. Now, there's only one actual negative, or maybe, 2 negative reviews. One that I think is more important to focus on. Everything else is, amazing, stunning and brave, show's amazing, its script's amazing, actors are amazing. Like, you can tell that these could have been written by ChatGPT. So this guy here goes, unbelievably bad, but best comedy of the year. And this is a 1 star. Oh boy, this is so bad, but best comedy I've seen in ages. I hope this is meant to be funny. As a Brit, I dislike the reimagined Robin Hood, as frankly, it surely would be better to make a new story, not live off the back of our anti-hero. It's so very silly, it's so silly, very anti-cop. All cops, especially white, are evil with no redeeming qualities, and the black actors are the opposite, so written by a child with no knowledge of real life, where it's gray, not black and white. So it's the poor, not really poor, like starving, stealing rich people's stuff, which is a crime, and we all know only governments can steal via taxes legally today. I like this guy. But if you want to have a good laugh at an awful show and see a 90-pound skinny woman throwing 200-pound cops around like they're as light as a feather, knock yourself out. I'm guessing he means I have no idea. I have no idea what shows some reviewers were watching. Maybe they didn't even watch it, but they love the politics. Bizarre. And that's what he's talking about. All these other reviews, all these 10s, are literally saying, I've watched 1 episode and all these characters are unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's like, nah, dude, same shit, repackaged to sell it to the same audience. So I find this funny. I just kind of wanted to touch base on this and see how it's doing. I would love to see if this actually goes the full season. I don't think it will, unless, you know what, it didn't cost very much and they can just throw it out there cheap, but we'll see. Anyways, if you're going to watch this, let me know what you guys think of it down below, and we will see you on the next one. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. We do have 2 channels, one for daily uploads, the other one for more of my live streams and hot takes. Links to both are down below, as well as the ability to join as a channel member for as little as $3 a month, and that'll greatly help us out. Much appreciated. We also have links to our Etsy accounts down below, as well as our website. We also have Locals and Subscribestar. If you didn't want to support us on YouTube, you can support us through those. Thanks again for being here, and we will see you on the next one.